Hi, welcome to Cut and Uncut with Daphne and Bonnie Violet. My name is Daphne and I'm cut.
And I'm Bonnie Violet, and I'm uncut. Here we talk about all things trans.
And then some.
And in this episode, we will be reacting to Dylan Mulvaney's recent music video and speaking about trans visibility as part 2 of our Trans Day of Visibility series. What a mouthful.
I know. We also love to give a big shout out and a thank you to our Patreon members, Skylar Bean, Jacob Blankenship, Elizabeth, Danielle Loyal, and Bertha D. Hugs and kisses.
And be sure to watch us on YouTube and subscribe. We're getting lots of subscribers. Listen on Spotify. Join us and rate us on Patreon. Listen, follow us on TikTok and get your merch.
I got mine.
And I got mine. Oh, look, there you got your little thumbs up thing.
I love that.
All
okay,
right.
Bonnie, how are you today? I'm super excited for Trans Visibility Day.
Yeah, me too. It's been, it's like not till Sunday, but I feel like it's been a week of it at least.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about Miss Mulvaney. I'm not familiar with who she is.
Oh, you're not? So Dylan Mulvaney is a trans kind of TikToker. A year and some change ago, she started this thing online where she was like she started like day 1 of being a girl, day 2 of being a girl. And so basically she kind of went on TikTok every day for like 365 days. And through that process, she built up quite a following. Like she's got millions of followers. She ended up getting lots of different brand deals and different things. There was a big issue with her because she did like a Bud Light commercial, and all the people who are anti-trans like threw out their beers.
No, they didn't. All the alcoholics threw out their beers.
Yeah, it was like a big hullabaloo, and then the beer company like took it back and was like, "Oh, that was a mistake." Or there's been a lot of just different things.
Shade of it all. Well, I'm super excited to support Miss Mulvaney this evening.
Yes, and so this is a video that she made right around after a year of her transition. And so we'll go ahead and I'll play it. We're going to play the description of what it's about. It has received a lot of, as she'll talk about, it's kind of went viral for the wrong reasons in some places. So she'll talk about that a little bit, but I thought it would be great to get her intention. That's so weird. To get her intention while we, that was weird. Why did it do that? Just watch her watch intention before we get going. So here we
song Days of Girlhood.
Oops. Wrong one, sorry.
Viral on this app for most of the wrong reasons. And I usually feel like art should speak for itself, if you can even call this song art. But I do think you deserve some context on this one. And I'll also say the fact that both conservatives and liberals would probably agree that this is potentially the most annoying song in the history of ever was no small task. Now, here are the facts. Number 1, was not trying to change the world with this one. Number 2, my comps for the song were Rebecca Black's Friday and Perfect Day from Legally Blonde, because I really wanted it to feel like the opening of like an early 2000s rom-com, because I never saw myself like existing in that world when I was growing up. And number 3, was not trying to like make a substantial music career. This was like a fun project to sort of celebrate the early days of transition and the joy that I found, because so much of my series and my personhood got used against me by really extremist conservative media. And I wanted to find a way to like find the fun and the joy of those initial moments that I had in my transition. And I think so many of the people that follow me on this app over the past 2 years have seen me grow and evolve so much to know that I don't think that womanhood or girlhood is chalked up to be these like silly, frivolous things. And if you broke up the lyrics like a Shakespeare monologue, like Monday can't get out of bed, Tuesday morning pick up meds, Wednesday retail therapy, cash or credit, I say yes. Dumb lyrics. But I still think we should be allowed to enjoy those things, and I could have probably written a song about my pain or my trauma, but I didn't want to. I wanted to write a fun song, like girls just want to have fun. And I've seen comments too, they're like, how could she release this after the Barbie movie and all we've learned in feminism? Well, I love the song What Was I Made For from Barbie movie. That's like my favorite movie. But what about the song Pink that opens the movie, or Dance the Night Away? I feel like my song's more like those songs. And if a cis pop star came out with one of those songs, I don't think it would have had this negative of a response. People would have probably just said, oh, this is a really bad song, which this is the most embarrassing part, I think, of all of this. I have been walking around my house in my bed like this. These are the days. These are the days. Hey, these are... I thought I had a hit on my hands. I was going, just wait. I said, just wait till they hear this one. And I'm like, yes, wait till they hear this one. It was really a song for myself. I might have really bad music taste. If there is anyone out here that does enjoy the song, let me know, because I still think I like it. But I will say, I think, to get to the point, over the past 2 years on this app, so much of what I put out there has been sort of towing this line of trans joy and humor and comedy and versus satire and parody. And I think we as a society is trying to figure out right now, like, what are trans people entitled to speak about or sing about when it comes to identity and womanhood or manhood? And why does it make us feel so uncomfortable when they do things that every other cis person is doing? And it makes me think of my day one video, actually, a lot. But I love you, and damn, Dylan, you really did that. You really made a song. You made a song, honey. I think maybe we tuck ourselves in for the night. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Love you. These are the days. These are the days. Days. Oh, and one last thing, whether you love or hate the song, all of my profits from this music will be donated to the Trevor Project now through Pride Month, which is an incredible organization that provides crisis services to queer youth. So even when the transphobes stream the song, that money goes to queer kids. So yay, that's a win. All right, I love ya. Good night.
She's cute.
Right? How does it make you feel about what you're about to see?
Well, hopefully us watching this is going to also give a little donation to the Trevor Project. So I'm super excited about that. So we are doing our part, Bonnie. So thank you for that. But a lot of stuff she said is absolutely on point. You know, everybody wants to claim something, you know, as theirs, maybe because they feel comfortable with identifying with it. But trans people can identify with the same emotions and feelings. We're not a whole subspecies or anything, are we?
No. I mean, some people think so. But that's the whole thing. It's like, because she's a trans person that made a song, doesn't, like, why does her transness have to be taken into accord for it? You know what I mean?
I agree.
Or be a critique of whether or not she should, whatever, you know what I mean? Because to some degree, Kim Petras doesn't have the same, I'm sure she has, you know, to some degree, but maybe not as much anymore. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what this looks like. I mean, I get a sense not watching it that it's not meant to be, like, it's just supposed to be like a fun, cutesy kind of, you know,
just a way of a freedom expression, kind of, sort of.
Almost like a coming of age.
You ready to run that clip, Bonnie?
Yep. Sorry, I just uploaded it, so it's doing automatic.
It doesn't look right.
That's as good as it's going to get. It has a little bit of the black on the side, but that's just how it is.
But I can't see the top. I just see, like, feet.
That's all that's
okay. Okay.
That's all that's happened so far, girl.
Well, so far, Miss Dillon, I'm not impressed.
Yeah, you're like, no, send it back. No wonder why everyone's up in a tissy.
Okay.
Right, here we go.
Ring the alarms immediately. We have a code pink emergency. Calling women
What's so bad about it, huh?
I think it's on point.
It's
super cute. I love the fashion and the visuals. Those girls are all super cute.
Yeah,
like
and
the
it's just
lyrics as well.
it's just fun and whimsical, and you know what I mean? Not too serious.
Yeah,
Right.
it's fun.
Here we go. Someone suggested that we rewind a little bit before we start again. So,
Oh, they did?
yes, I thought, oh, that's a great tip. Here
Well,
we go.
who's that?
I don't remember their name. I'll have to shout them out.
We're doing hot girl shit. Get in. Monday can't get out of bed. Tuesday morning pick up meds. Wednesday retail therapy. Cash or credit, I say yes. Thursday had a walk of shame. Didn't even know his name. Weekends are for kissing friends. Friday night all overspent. Saturday we flirt for drinks. Playing wingmen to our twinks. Sunday the Twilight soundtrack. Use my breakdown in the bath. These are the days, these are the days, these are the days of girlhood. These are the days, these are the days, these are the days of girlhood. Every day, every night, rise or shine, they're all mine. Thick or thin, I'll be alright. Got my dolls by my side. These are the days, these are the days, these are the days of girlhood. Hype girls to the front of the line, linked arms, no stress.
That's Gigi Gorgeous. Do you recognize her?
In the pink
Yeah. Mhm.
hair?
Yeah. No.
No.
She's like a pretty famous trans girl, YouTube trans girl in the beginning. But anywho, should we go back to it?
Let's do it.
All right.
Girls to the front of the line, linked arms, no stress, cause we're dressed up to the nines. Mini skirts, it's below my hips. Dye my hair blonde, pillow talk on my lips. Boys on the dance floor, it's time to clear the patriarchy's over. You can hold our beer. Back at home, we replay the breakup. Stay up all night, fall asleep in our makeup. Mom brought me into the world. Sister taught me how to girl. Best friend coached me how to text the boy toy that I'm dating next. Girls who help show me the way. They're why I'm in it, girl, today. These are the days, these are the days, these are the days of girlhood. These are the days, these are the days, these are the days of girlhood. Every day, every night, rise or shine, they're all mine. Thick or thin, I'll be alright. Got my dolls by my side. These are the days, these are the days, these are the days of girlhood. Love ya.
That was it.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. And thank you, Dylan, for putting that together, because that was super fun.
Yeah, it was super cute. And I definitely get like what she was going for as far as like the vibe. I
Yeah.
could definitely see like I got the Legally Blonde kind of vibe from it, and almost like the Taylor Swift. It reminded me of that one Taylor Swift video too. But like it's just, you know, cutesy. I also thought that, she kind of did nods to being trans, and like she thanked the girls for helping her learn how to, be a girl, all that sort of stuff. And so
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of sweet. I think it's been interesting to watch her over the last couple of years. I mean, I couldn't imagine transitioning. I've transitioned online, but very like a 5 people see it or something, right? She's got like millions of followers. She's all over the place. Like I couldn't imagine what that would be like, and kind of managing all of that stuff. You know what I mean? So because, she can do I don't know, I guess a lot of what she was doing is because she was trans, I guess. But then also that was also kind of creating a whole bunch of flack as well.
I think that what you're saying, some people use the internet as coping tools to help them come out, to help them deal with everyday life, just to be comfortable in your own skin. You know, everybody uses it for different things. But I'm super proud of her because you know as well as I do that it's very hard to be to open yourself up to society. You know, and it's not just, you know, I don't want to throw back to, but you know, the dark web can be very cruel because people hide behind these cameras, you know, and they're the devil himself. So to be vulnerable like that is phenomenal. And then to embrace it and turn it into this empire for yourself and continue to have fun with it, because it looks like it's not even work, it's just all fun.
Yeah. I mean, she's definitely it's definitely become a lot of fun. And when we're thinking about visibility, you know, I think it's one of many narratives. You know, I think it is important when we're talking about Trans Day of Visibility. Like, I know how important it was for me to see girls like me in order to begin to see me and see who I could become. And so, you know, and the thing of it is, you know, we need to see all different kinds of ways to live as trans women, to live as girls and women. So they're not this one, you know, like you just watch this one music video and you're like, oh, that's what it means to be a girl. And it's like, no, that's part of some experiences of being a girl, or maybe a time in your life as a girl. You know what I mean? It doesn't speak for anything and everything, and it's not trying to.
Yeah. I think that's a very key point. And to piggyback on that, you know, it's hard to get up in the morning and know that you've got to go out into the big bad world and face people, you know, knowing full well that some days you don't even want to go outside because you know what's out there for you.
Yeah.
You know, even you say when we're doing our videos and when you're doing the comments, you're deleting what? 50 sometimes of these hurtful things that people are saying. Thank God you shielding my eyes from it, Shelby. So that is great when you talk about trans visibility. It's like I was saying earlier, people we all want to be seen and we all want to be respected, you know. And I also said that everybody wants their day in the sun. And everybody should respect it for having their day in the sun, like Juneteenth, Trans Visibility Day, St. Patrick's Day. I mean, I could go on and on, you know.
Yeah. I think visibility.
I mean, it's just there's a lot.
Yeah. I think visibility is really important for like identities or ways of life for people who've not had representation or had to kind of be in the shadow or the dark, or just people haven't paid attention enough to see them and, you know, really want to like be in relationship with people. And so I think visibility is a small but big part of beginning to change, because I think a lot of people don't, like, I think sometimes what it takes is to meet a trans person or work with a trans person or watch it. You know what I mean? Like it takes you actually having a real like connection with a trans person to see that they're just humans, just like everyone else. Because when all you're looking at is maybe what you saw in the media or what other people are telling you, you know, and it's so foreign from your own experience. I don't think people, you know, we don't expect you to know, like, you know what I mean? But there is an element of like compassion and understanding that should just be given to anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's transition is different. You know, no transition is exactly the same. Everybody is, you know, different. The way I transitioned from the way that you transitioned, you know, when I transitioned or how you know, it's all different, but yet it seems to fall under the same umbrella, if that makes sense, which brings us to a unity, you know. And I was looking at something at work where we're celebrating. We had a huge meeting today on trans visibility, and just some of the stuff that they're saying about how many of these laws in like 58 states or, you know, 48 of them, and, you know, are passing these trans laws, anti-trans laws. Like, for what?
Yeah.
What has any trans person done?
Especially against young people.
Exactly. Just trying to target as much. And I haven't heard of any trans person yet that has done anything to any child. I have yet to hear of it. Have you heard of anything before I start talking that way?
No. I mean, to say that it's never happened is probably not a thing, but it's not someone's transness that makes them, like it's something else in them that is, that they're doing. The transness has nothing to do with that. Just like sexuality has nothing to do with, pedophilia. Like that's a completely different situation. And that's not something that, you know what I mean? Like it's like saying that all Black people are this, or all people who live in the South, or all like whatever, people want to generalize about people. That's, not helpful. Sometimes I feel there's a lot of people, there are some people talking about right now, there's like a lot of trans people that are kind of like online. There's a lot of discourse about like, because like even you and I, we don't necessarily, like when the conversation we had, there was, maybe we didn't agree on everything. We were respectful to one another and those sorts of things.
I love you.
Yeah. And that sort of stuff isn't happening. But I know a part of me feels like, I think in that conversation, some of the extra pressure was this idea that like, non-trans people are watching, you know what I mean? Probably like, I've heard Black folk talk about like white people are watching, like there's it's like code switching and all that sort of stuff. And I think sometimes we're that one person or that they see or have interaction with as a trans person. And sometimes you want to make sure it looks good or presented in, you know what I mean? The best way or whatever. And that's hard.
No, I don't code switch with, I try not to code switch. This is who I am.
Right.
And the thing with me is I don't judge you for your beliefs. Your beliefs may be different than mine, but that's not why I love you. I love you as a whole,
Right.
where everybody's going to have
as a hoe.
As a whole.
Or as a whole.
I love you as a whole. Un prostituta is what you are. But I used to come from the same market, so I have to shop in the same market. But yeah, that's absolutely right, Bonnie. We're all going to disagree. We're all not in unity about a lot of things because we all are. It's like, okay, say, I'll give you an example. You may be a Republican and I may be a Democrat, or I may be a Republican and you may be a Democrat. We're going to disagree. We're going to have different views on a lot of things, but we have one common thing, and that's that we are both trans. Mm-hmm. And that's where we agree. We don't have to disagree on everything, agree on everything.
Yeah. Well, and we connect on a lot of other things, I think, too, that help us to like not take some of that stuff personal. Like when I like my aunt is a conservative Christian and we're really close, and there's a lot of things that would say we shouldn't be, but because I know her and I love her and we've had conversations, I know like it's that thing, because I know you, I'm not going to, make these assumptions about what, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's the kind of the difference is like, and for whatever reason, it takes like that intimate connection with someone, because it's not just our transness that causes us to connect in the way that we do. It's also like our ability to, we connect on a spiritual level, and we connect around recovery, and we connect, like there's a lot more to it than just like we're both trans. And yet, because we both are trans, even just in that little bit, there is some bit of connection and some like
discourse.
Well, but also some like knowing of one another, if even just a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I seen somewhere where I think it was on TikTok, and these two trans girls were going at it, calling each other transphobia. I think it was transphobia, or I think that's what it was, where one was kind of similarly like me, that doesn't take kindly to children transitioning on medication, that same thing. And the other one just blasted them out there like, yo. And I was like, oh, that is not nice.
Yeah.
That is not nice. You don't need to do that to each other. To, listen to what they're saying, understand where they're coming from. That's just their own personal view. That does not mean that it should not be that way. It's just an own, that person's perspective. It doesn't mean that one perspective is going to ruin everybody's life or some people's lives because they have an opinion.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's kind of a hard balance though sometimes, because some of those opinions feel so personal, and they can impact our daily life in our most vulnerable places and our most vulnerable ways.
I believe, yes.
So it's really hard sometimes. I think it's often trigger responses of like our own
to place it.
What's that?
There's a way to place that.
Right. Yes. But I think a lot of us aren't taught how to do that. We're not like in a position to do that. I think, I can handle that sort of stuff now better. I think just given my age, I think being somebody who's, recovered from substances and who kind of has this spiritual way of life and an awareness that I didn't have when I was younger, to at least know what my soft spots are and when my reaction is not matching what is happening, or you know what I mean? And I can kind of navigate through those processes a little bit more than maybe I was a young person. But even early on in my transition, I couldn't take any resistance from anyone. And so that's why I had to, what's that?
Le resistance.
Yeah, I couldn't take any sort of outside negativity. Like I just had to protect, because I was so vulnerable that I was just like, I have to protect myself, and I can only let in that which is positive and that which is affirming and that which is going to make me feel good about who I am and my transition and all those sorts of things, because it was too much to have, because, yeah.
Well, you know me, I like to use similes, like I like a whole garden. I don't just want roses in it. I want daffodils. I want lilies.
You want a tree? But you got to get to a tree at some point.
Right. So, and I guess that's how I view things, is that everything is beautiful in its own way. And I'm not going to, I don't want to be the kind of person to force all the roses in on this side of the garden and then separate, you know what I mean? I just like a whole bunch of different everything in one big wild garden. And that's just the way that I see humanity. I like it all in big mix and bowl, stir it up, it all tastes good, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think for me, there was a time when I was younger, and even like in early recovery or those sorts of things, I think our child or our instinct maybe is to seek sameness. So because there's some sort of safety or belief that like that's our community. So I think like connecting with sameness. So maybe because somebody's queer, because somebody is this or that or the other, and really connecting at that level, when I've come to really find more growth and more expansion from people who are different from myself, because all I'm going to do is keep getting what I'm getting if I'm with the same people all the time. And so
exactly, Bonnie, and that's growth, and that's learning.
And now I want to be surrounded by difference, and I want to, we've talked about it in previous episodes. Like I want to be changed by the people that I meet and I learn about, and I want to change how I am if it's harmful or hurtful or, any of those sorts of things. And the only way I'm going to do that is by talking with and believing and listening to people who are willing to share with me what they're going through.
I think the biggest thing that I'm learning through this, I'm studying for my project management degree, and I'm almost done. And I've learned so much: business management, art and culture, photography, urban development, technology. I've learned so much. And the only thing that I found that I really have a passion for out of all of that, and what makes all of that work, is communication. That is the master thing that makes everything go around. Communication.
Well, and that's that interpersonal.
That rhetoric or mild miscommunication. There's a giver and then there's a receiver.
We're talking about communication, right?
Yeah.
We're still talking about communication.
Get your line out the gutter, girl. Right. But you know what I'm saying, and it depends on the person. If I want to receive what you're telling me, I'm going to accept that.
Right.
But if I disagree, I'm going to have to communicate back what I heard and relay it back to you. So we're all make sure that what you just said to me is what I heard. Is that correct?
Right.
And then it's up to me to say, okay, well, I don't follow that. Or, okay, well, help me to understand so we're on the same level. You know what I mean? It's a giving back and forth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. It's the interpersonal relationships with one another. It's like the idea, like if you're managing a project and you're working with a lot of different people, you can't address people the same way. You know? You have to be able to adapt with different people in order to help them do their job better, and for you as a team to get your, you know, the things. And sometimes, you know, some people are really like, you know, put together and everything has to be whatever. And then you have people that might be more creative that are like a little whatever. And it takes all of that in order to really make a beautiful anything
project.
Yeah.
So now with Transvisibility, and we're on the project of love today. Love and acceptance and understanding and communication.
And I think queer folks, or even like trans folks, I think in general, I think us being able to have these different experiences as living as men and women, or being perceived as men or not, you know, women, or all these sorts of things. Like, I think it allows us to be a little bit more empathetic. And I think we have more to draw from when we're having relationships with people, right? Where, I feel like that it's a gift in a lot of ways.
Now, this one is probably going to get us some cussing out today, but somewhere during my REM, I heard something somewhere state that trans people are the balance between masculine and feminine. That's what I heard. So we're that spiritual connection between the two.
I think that makes a lot of sense, that like we are, I mean, and a lot of folks like us have been healers over the years. And, you know, we're like the people in the community that people come to, you know, we bend the rules, but we're able to like be there for men and women. And you know what I mean? Like those sorts of things. Cause even like queer men, you know, have a lot, like girls talk with, I don't know. There's just like, there's these like, these spaces that we get to be in. And I do think like the masculine and the feminine, especially the binaries, gain a lot from being with us and seeing us. And to me, I'm not a big dualistic black and white kind of binary thinker. I think the truth is that there's just so many colors. There's more gray. There's, you know, all those, however way
I love the happy gray.
Yeah, like any of the ways you want to say that. And so I think what we do is we create more space in which other people can find themselves in, because the reality is we all are like all over the place all of the time, right? You know, and there was times when I was super rigid about, you know, trying to be more masculine, you know, and that didn't go so well, but I tried, you know what I mean? Like, and that's okay, because that was,
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that.
Oh my God, there's photos, but it's so interesting how like when you're like that way, you're like too much of a girl, and then you transition, and then you're too much of a man. And so it's like this weird, at least that's been my experience, where it's like, I can't win for losing. You know what I mean?
So whose standards?
Did you see who popped in?
No.
It's Carrie.
Oh my God.
I know.
I get so excited.
I know, it's exciting. I was excited to see you too, Carrie. We need some saving, huh? We're talking about trans visibility. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to bring them up. I know we've connected through the Wrens, so this is a little, you know, immersion, I think, but hey.
Yeah, and Carrie, let me tell you something, girl. You are family. We accept you because you're awesome. That's all it is.
Yeah. We won't
awesome people like awesome people.
Exactly. We're not going to hold it against you. Yes.
So I agree with you, Bonnie. Like for me, I don't have a lot of what you're going through in my life nowadays. But when I was first transitioning, you know, the hard part, you know, before I got the softness, before I got, you know, the femininity, you know, all of that gorgeousness, you know. No,
rubbing it all in.
No, I'm just kidding. But you're welcome. It was hard, so I understand what it's like, but I'm not at that point anymore in my life.
Mhm.
But just because I know what it's like, I've been there, I have that empathy. And
Yeah.
it'll never go away because it is a part of me. It would always be a part of me.
But you give me hope that it can be different, that it doesn't have to be
It
this
doesn't
way
have-
the whole time.
No, it doesn't.
Right. Which is a lot of what like visibility is so important, is because like for me, I've often said it is like I lacked, like I knew there was something more about me, but I couldn't figure it out on my own. And it took me having to see it in other people, or parts of me in other people, in order to begin to pull the whole of me together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, you know, I think growing up where I grew up in a very small town and with the same people, we all looked alike, talked alike, you know what I mean? Like all those sorts of things, but I never really quite fit there, you know? And as I got out more and more in the world, I began to awaken, I think, parts of myself that were just waiting, you know, they were just waiting to get lit up, so to speak.
Well, through my 25 years of living on this earth,
25.
I have known a lot of trans women. I have seen a lot of accomplishments for trans women through trans visibility. And I can never remember names because, you know, life, I think that was the alcohol back then. But there was a woman who was the first transsexual who transitioned, who unfortunately didn't make it through that. And then there was the tennis player who did women's doubles for a while, which was a major accomplishment. And so down the history line, we have seen women, or there was a Black male, female to male that was in jazz that was very popular in the 20s. I can't remember names, but we have been here. We've always been here.
And gender nonconformity.
We've been attacked back then, and we're being attacked now.
Yeah.
And so and I'm going through this to say is that out of all of these people, your name now is on the books. And that is because you are making strides to say, I am here. Your beautiful production company. I'm going to plug that in. What's the name of it?
Anyway.
But the things that you're doing, you know what I mean? You're working hard. You're showing people that it's okay. You're fighting for trans rights.
Right.
You're one of my favorite people that I can say today in my life, because you stand up and you show up, and I'm so proud of you for that. So
stop it.
Yeah, I just want to put that out there for you too, that I see you.
I appreciate that. I mean, I think, what was I gonna say? Oh no, how do I follow that up?
Just tell me what's your passion behind it? Like,
well,
why are you fighting? So, back in our day, we used to hide. Like, oh, girl, you clockable. What is it for you today in this day and age?
I think it's a combination of, I've kind of been this community activist person my whole life, and now I'm just trans while doing it. I got HIV as a teenager, and there was not a lot of support, and there wasn't a lot of community around me, and so I had to kind of create it, and I had to try to connect with it in order to survive, and in order to maybe even thrive, and then getting into recovery, it's the same similar thing. So I think as I've gotten into my transness, and it's been difficult, that the answer for me is to try to build community. Sometimes the best thing I can do to try to connect with someone is to get on camera or get into social media, because I have a hard time maybe connecting with the people in my neighborhood, right? Maybe I can't leave the house or whatever, but I think a lot of my desire is still somewhat selfish, in the sense of I need it for me. I need a world that I can feel safe in and feel connected to. And also I want to be for somebody what other people were for me. And I know that happens oftentimes just by existing, just by showing up in places and being seen, doing mundane things, so that other people can see that it's possible, and that's the spirituality of it, right? That's the reciprocation. That's
the Mulvaney part of it.
Right. Well, and you have to, like in our world, we know that you have to give it away in order to keep it when it comes to sobriety. And I feel that same way about I might be so far behind you in transitioning, but there are people who are yet to get where I am. You know what I mean? And so them seeing where I am is going to help them to get there, just like you being further along is helping me as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's great. And for as far as my transition, I'm still transitioning. I don't think I'll ever stop transitioning because the world is changing. So with that, my values have changed. You know what I mean? My beliefs are changing. I'm being more compassionate. I'm more comfortable in my skin. I'm more comfortable with speaking about my truths. I'm not afraid to stand up for the little guy. I root for the underdog, and that's who I've always been. I'm just more stronger and more vocal about it now. I came out at work and I'm like, well, just so you know, this sister is she's
Right.
all, I'm not only am I Black, I'm also trans, I'm also loud, I'm also funny, I'm a little ghetto, you know what I mean? But I'm very passionate about my job. So
Right.
they know what they're getting when I get there. When I go hard, I stay hard. You know what I mean? And I don't want you to take that the wrong way because I'm cut.
Right. Yeah. Carrie says, that is a beautiful thing. I feel the same and don't have to be trans to value everyone's experience. Exactly.
Yes, Carrie.
Exactly. It's just our experience. I think the other, what else? I was going to say something and I forgot. See how it is. See how I am.
And also I want to give the medical industry a big shout out for trans visibility. I just love how they are, trying to understand that we do exist. Being culturally aware is huge. And they're trying to take that away after we work so hard to get that. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing crazy shit around here, which is all the more reason for us to be visible and for people. Do you know what I mean? I think because like here, they're like taking away our access to medical care. They're now making it to where like therapists and mental health providers can not choose not to see you because you're LGBTQ. They could like just say you're gay, I'm not going to serve you. Like just really weird stuff.
So that's just like saying, oh, well, I don't want to see you because you're Black. We're going back to that? Is that what we're going back to? Is that
they just call it anti-DEI now. Now they're all like trying to stop critical race theory and DEI, but basically they're saying Black without saying Black.
Right. Don't say Black.
Right. You know what I mean? Like that's exactly what a lot of it is, but they can't say it. But that's still some of.
Let me get this right. Let me write this down. So you're telling me that Big Brother now saying women don't have any rights over their bodies, trans people don't have any rights over their health care, and Black people can't what? We can't do a damn thing. So that's just
yeah.
So what
things
is
never change.
Conservative man? Is Big Brother conservative man? I need to know this. Is that because that's what it sounded like our target is the conservative man, is the conservative white man. Or is that
I mean what it comes
Christian white man? Is that am I correct?
I think a lot of it just comes down to who has the power, and politics has a lot of power over us, and so does money. And if we look at who has the money and who has the power, and again, that's why representation matters, is we need to get into places of power and not to take power to harm others, but just to kind of, try to level things out. Carrie says women's and LGBTQ trans rights take us back to ice ages. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes no sense, Carrie. Like without women, without the colorfulness of the LGBT community and the love and the rainbow that we bring to the world, where are we without all of these most important things in life? It's just like, what kind of world would we have?
Right. Well, and regardless of like, that's how we are. That's how we exist. Oh, I remember what I was going to say, you know, like sometimes transition doesn't always feel like it fits right, because I feel like my whole life I've just been becoming more of me. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm
You're
continuing,
evolving, not transitioning. You're evolving.
I'm creating, you know, I'm being created still, kind of like you were talking about, you know, like I'll never stop being created. I'll never stop growing and learning and becoming more. And, you know, I think transition is just a way that we talk about my experience and what I'm going through. But in a lot of ways for me, I'm just becoming more of who you know what I mean? I'm just becoming more, I guess, instead of like switching, you know what, I guess transitioning. I get why it's transitioning and it makes sense. But I think I've always kind of my spirit has always been the same. And I'm just working on really trying to help my body and the way I live my life match my spirit a little bit more, you know?
Yeah.
I know this is crazy. We are about, you know, we have about a few minutes left. And I know we wanted to talk about, do we want to talk anything more about transvisibility? What do we want to do? We want to be done? How are you feeling?
Carrie, is there any final words you want to? Yes.
One final word, authentic. She said that, to be fair, she put that before you asked. So, you know, who knows? Maybe it works. But yeah, I'm kind of like feeling like I don't have too much more to speak on it. You know, in some ways I feel like there's so much more that could be said. But also like what more can be said.
Yeah. And don't forget, people, like, share, and subscribe.
Oh, there we go.
Put some comments in there about what you think about Transvisibility and how can we be more supportive. You know, I know that a lot of sponsors are like, oh, you know, they give to the Noah Trevor Project around gay pride, but can we get some donations to y'all?
Yeah.
Can we get $50?
There we go. I had to change my lighting. I was so gray.
Well, Bonnie, do not tune in.
Yes, be sure to join us next week. On Thursday, we'll do another podcast episode and we'll talk about shit. But on Monday night, we will be live at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll be doing a Ren reaction. And we also have a bonus disco reaction that we're going to do per one of our subs in the comments. Be cute. They heard you talk about how you love disco, and so like, oh, you got to check out, because it's a newer disco song that's kind of but it has the 70s vibe to it.
Okay, I can get down with that. So hopefully it's going to be good. So all you renegades, support my disco video reaction coming up. So we just want to say thank you for joining us tonight. We love you until you can love yourselves. Mm-hmm. Hugs and kisses and good night. There's my heart.